Hello, everyone.
Howdy. Well, we'll wait for a few of you to get tuned in, but thanks for watching our update from Helena. It's actually snowy again and quite cold, so
Yes.
I hope you are warm wherever you are and that you're not dealing with calving or other fun things outside.
Let us know where you're watching from in the comments, or if you have any questions right off the bat, feel free to ask. Maybe we'll get started.
Let's jump in.
Okay, so I worked on 2 hemp bills this week, actually, that were heard in the Senate Agriculture Committee. They are number Senate Bill 176 and 177. So under the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp was removed from the Controlled Substances Act. Hemp and marijuana have commonly been placed in the same category as they both belong to the cannabis family, but hemp, unlike marijuana, does not have high levels of THC. So it doesn't include that psychoactive, I think that's the words, that substance. So
it doesn't make you high.
You can't get high off of hemp.
There you go.
So it's now considered an agricultural commodity under the 2018 Farm Bill. So Senate Bill 177 changes Montana code so that hemp is recognized as an agricultural commodity here in Montana. It removes the requirement that growers be fingerprinted. It clarifies that hemp is hemp. It doesn't need to be called industrial hemp. Just a simple clarification in statute that we supported. Senate Bill 177 Senate Bill 176 creates a statewide certification plan and program under the Department of Agriculture so that they can regulate and certify seeds coming into Montana, and producers can legally grow it here. It also allows growers to form a commodity advisory committee. So much like the wheat and barley committee, if growers opted to do so, they could create a hemp advisory committee to work on research and foreign and domestic market development. So we supported both of those. Montana was actually the leader in hemp production last year under the pilot program. So we believe this is just a first step in remaining competitive here in Montana.
If anybody has any questions, remember to just jump in with them. So throw out your hemp questions now. It's interesting, it's always interesting to kind of get into a different field than you're completely familiar with. So
that was this for me.
Yeah. And we supported the passage of the 2018 Farm Bill, and that was something that was important to a lot of the senators, especially within that bill. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out in the states now.
Yes.
But Montana's getting ready, so that's good. There's been a few other bills I wanted to give you some brief updates on, and then one that is we'll talk a little bit more in depth on a few of them. So 2 bills that started out in the House that have already made it into the Senate are House Bill 43 and House Bill 104, which are both sponsored by Representative Logie from St. Ignatius, and they're 2 pretty simple bills. One is the first one, 43, simply clarifies, and I have to remind myself because we've gone through these so twice already, so I got to remember which one was which. So 43 is the one that provides both the license and the permit for elk or for landowners who allow elk hunting on their property. And free elk hunting, meaning you don't have it outfitted or you don't charge someone a trespass fee to come on. The bill was originally it was actually current law, but originally you would only receive the permit, not the license and the permit. So this bill just offers, as I said in my testimony, both halves of the carrot. Most farmers and ranchers are sportsmen or women ourselves, so we like to, it's a great added perk, especially in districts where it's really hard to draw a tag. So we supported that based on the things that it offers for landowners who allow public hunting, and it was also sponsored by the wildlife groups, other agriculture group, and just a good bill. good solid bill, moved through the House quickly. It got a lot of questions in the Senate hearing yesterday, but I think it's going to keep moving quickly as well. The other one, like I said, it was pretty similar in that it offers both halves of the carrot. House Bill 104 just offers for folks who do block management right now. I'll make sure that's the right one. Yes, block management. You receive a hunting license, a combination license, if you have block management on your property. But it was kind of an oversight when the law was first passed that they did not include things like your conservation license and your like the AIS stamp and a few little other prerequisites that you need to have that combination license apply. And so this just adds that all in there, so it all is included, simplifies the process, works well for everyone. And so that also moved quickly through the House and has moved through the Senate very quickly. It was heard yesterday, and they actually passed it out of committee on the same day, which is something they don't usually do. It's usually at least they wait at least one more hearing within the committee so that if there are any amendments that need to be made or any other comments that come in, they can consider them. But in this case, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks actually requested that they kind of fast track the bill because they'd like to get it into current law as soon as possible and apply for the next hunting season. So that's exciting that it's moving as well.
So I'll just take a moment to answer Megan's question. She asked where the hemp will be processed, or will we be subsidizing processors in the state? I have not heard anything on subsidizing processors. I did not even realize that there were hemp processors here in the state of Montana, but there were a few that did come testify on both of those bills, as well as a few growers. So to my knowledge, that is certainly a market that's going to be expanded. I don't know exactly where, but individuals did indicate that they would be expanding their operations here in Montana.
And to add on to that, there is a Senate bill that actually deals with taxation of hemp processing equipment. We didn't have policy on that one, so we did not go in on it. But the same sponsor, Senator Jacobson, is carrying that as well to try to do some things that will incentivize and help get some more processing going here in the state. So good question, Megan.
Yeah.
So also yesterday, after I quickly testified on those two bills in Senate Fish and Game, hopped down the stairs all the way down to the bottom floor for House Agriculture to hear the first of the, and this is the real bill that is the Real Meat Act bill. So, it's been a pretty hot topic in the last mostly in the last year about what are we going to do with this new fake meat product. So whatever you call it, fake meat, petri dish meat, frankenfood, the stuff that's being, the technology that's being developed now that basically takes a cell of an animal and recreates it in a petri dish, and they're looking to one day commercially make that available for people to eat as a alternative protein source. So the problem is they, of course, want to market this as meat. This bill, it makes a few simple changes to Montana code that are very, very important. It clarifies what meat is, and it clarifies what in this bill, it's being called cell cultured edible product. So it's not meat, it is that petri dish product. And it defines that in law, and then it also clarifies that meat cannot include that edible product in its definition. It also clarifies that hamburger, which is defined in law, actually cannot include any of this product. And then it includes provisions in both the health and safety title and the livestock title that say calling those products meat is misbranding and cannot be done. So it really makes some simple changes that will make sure that forever here in Montana, meat can only be labeled as meat. That which we think of as meat. It came from an animal that was living and is no longer.
Yeah.
So really important bill, had a lot of support, actually had some opposition as well based on their claims were that this violates the First Amendment, but excuse me, I wasn't really seeing that argument. It's really important that we get this done here in Montana, so I think that thing's going to fly out of committee with a bipartisan support. I talked to a lot of the committee members afterwards and appreciated the questions that they had, that they asked, and their support for the bill. So Representative Redfield is carrying that bill, and we look forward to seeing that move quickly through the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So does anybody have any questions? We're kind of quick. You know, let's see. I'm looking up at our board. So what we do is we write all of the bills that we work on during the week up on a board, so we know when they're scheduled and what committees they're in, and then we're always adding. We put them up there if we are even suspecting that we might have policy, then we read them, check them. So one more that's up there is actually a fun one. This is a little bit outside of our, it's not as, well, it's a little bit outside of our normal range of things that we work on, but a really actually very interesting and very important bill. House Bill 229 is a bill that clarifies in law that fossils belong to the surface estate. I think it's been the general understanding of most landowners that fossils do indeed belong to the surface estate owner for since the beginning of time. And I think that's been the position of most mineral owners as well. It's a little bit it's been a little bit blurred in Montana code, so this bill simply clarifies that. We supported it as well. We supported the clarifying that fossils belong to the surface estate. Our members, you guys that are watching know, many of you own your mineral rights. Some of you do not. I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of you do not as well. This will just clarify that, and I think it's really important because first of all, it just goes in line with the way things, current operating procedure has been for since anybody can remember. That was a lot of the testimony. There were a lot of museums there that testified in support of the bill, saying that we hold a lot of private fossils that came from private land. We want to be able to continue to keep these. We want to be able to continue to find them. And there were also people who came up and testified, a lot of people from around the Jordan and Glendive areas, talking about how they're the surface right owners and they've done a lot to help with their farms and ranches by kind of aiding in the income by doing some dinosaur digs or fossil digs and things like that. So I think it's also important because clarifying who owns these fossils is important when it comes to exploration for these fossils. When it's the surface owner, their dinosaur diggers are going to be negotiating with the surface owner, the one who's really affected, and that's the way it's been done in practice and the way it should continue to be done going forward. So again, another bill that we hope to see move quickly. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, Tom. Does anyone have any questions? Another thing, one of the bills we supported last week, clarifying the definition of what a wild bison is, House Bill 132. That's going to be on second reading today. So we'll be up there watching that and making sure it gets through there with no problems. We hope to see a bipartisan vote on that, but we'll update you there. A lot of bills that we've been working on in the background are going to start showing up next week. So that'll be exciting because we also are going to have members in town to celebrate the annual convention, to celebrate Montana's Farm Bureau's 100-year centennial celebration. So I think Liv's going to tell you some of the details on that.
So we've got our MFBF calling on the Capitol February 12th and 13th. The 13th is extra special because that is the official date that Farm Bureau turned 100. The governor 100 years ago had to pass a bill that allowed county farm bureaus to congregate and meet in their local communities. So we have formally established that that's our 100-year birthday. So that morning, Governor Bullock will be addressing our members in the fan window. We'll do a little breakfast, and then we have a full day ahead of us for our members. We'll be meeting with Department of Livestock, Tim Fox. We're receiving a Senate proclamation as well. So it's an exciting day. We really want to make sure we get as many members up to the Capitol as possible. We want everyone in that Capitol building to know that Farm Bureau is 100 years old, and we've been advocating and working with farmers and ranchers for 100 years. So we're excited about it, and we would love to have all of you come up for either the 12th and 13th or just the 13th.
And then some of you might want to stay for the 14th because there's going to be a number of really interesting bills up that afternoon, including another bison bill, and I think there's some predator bills coming up that day as well. So if you have questions about that, let us know. Look on our website for more information about the event and to sign up. If you are coming, wear some Farm Bureau logoed apparel if you have some, because we'd love to not only have farmers and ranchers walking around, but to really show off that you're Farm Bureau members and that you're there to celebrate our anniversary and just advocate for agriculture.
And there will be cake.
Of course.
Well,
yes.
I think that's all we have. It was a pretty slow week up until yesterday. And between Chelsea, Nicole, and I, we testified we took a stance on 8 bills that were heard at the same time in 4 committees, right?
5 different committees.
5 committees.
Yeah. So
she did most of the running up and down, but
it was fun.
Yes.
Those 2 fish and game bills were great, and the Real Meat Act was really fun. So it was great that it worked out to cover all those, and then Liv was in Senate Ag covering 3 bills in there, and Chelsea was in on a really long trapping bill in the afternoon. But yeah, it's great to be able to divide and conquer, and thank goodness, because when it rains, it pours around here, or when it snows, it blizzards, might be more accurate.
Starting to look that way.
So if you don't have any other questions, we're going to sign off, but we hope you're getting our updates. If you're a Century Club voting member, we hope you're getting our weekly updates. Be looking for those. Liv's been updating those this morning. And also look for our Boots on the Hill article. We'll be putting that out this afternoon too. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.